If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. A few months ago when I was in Missouri, it was still cold. At this campground, when we pulled in, I got a flat tire. And I didn't know I had a problem until that night. I woke up in the middle of the night and my head was up against the side of the camper. The camper was leaning. And so I immediately knew I had a flat tire. In order to resolve the issue for the night, we just swapped sides, so my head was on the high side. And well, the next morning, I got up and I put a tire plug in it, and it sealed it up. So I took my little cigarette lighter air pump and I pumped it back up. But it was so cold, I think the plug couldn't form correctly, and so it started leaking. It was the first time I've ever used a tire plug that it didn't work. Now, just to be clear, it's only on the treaded surfaces that you can use the plug. I took it in and I got the tire repaired. Well, when I came back in, I got another hole. It started leaking again. Well, this was frustrating. I assumed that the patch that they put on had failed, but it didn't. It was a brand new hole. So that meant this campground was apparently flattening my tires. So I went out and I got some slime. Now, slime is a green thing you can buy at Walmart. It's like Fix-A-Flat. I don't know, I just like slime. I've never used Fix-A-Flat, but I've used slime a lot. And so I put the slime in the tire, sealed it up, everything was great. Well, again, came back down into that campground. You would think I would learn my lesson. Now, what was interesting was I got all the holes in the same tire. But this last time I got it in the front right. So it was the rear left, the rear driver's side. Now I got a hole in the rear front right. I immediately just aired it back up, went back to town, got some more slime, put it in there. I wasn't even going to mess with it because the slime worked so well in the last one. Now, the problem with slime, there's a few things with slime. The green stuff is just for emergency repairs. The manufacturer recommends that you remove the slime and get the tire fixed, the whole thing. But I've used it a lot in my life, and I'm not recommending you do this. It's not what I'm saying. It's just, I did it. And I was fine with it. The problem with it is that when it gets cold, until the tire warms up, it feels like the tire is bouncing, which it is. It's actually now off balance. You have to get tires balanced. Well, when you got all that frozen material sitting at the bottom of the tire and you're starting to spin, well, all that weight just bounces everything. So it is a problem, and I do understand why they want you to do it. The manufacturer also says never leave it in longer than 2 years also. Well, yesterday we were coming to this campground. This is important. I check all my gauges about once an hour. I always leave the gauge on my voltmeter. And the reason I leave it on my voltmeter is because my truck charges my house battery while I'm driving. So I always want to make sure that everything's okay with the house battery while I'm driving down the road. And I can always see when the refrigerator kicks on because the voltage comes up. I don't know, it's just that's where I leave it. But once an hour, I always check my gauges. Make sure the temperatures are running okay, transmission fluid's running okay. I never want my transmission fluid to get above 170, but I always like to keep it around 140. Well, I got over to tire pressures, and you're seeing an old picture. It was actually a picture of the one back in the winter. But this time I checked, and the left rear, the one I had all the problems with the first time, the driver's side rear, was at 38 pounds. Well, I kept an eye on it because I was on the highway. I didn't immediately jump over. See, my tire pressures are normally supposed to be at 50. Well, here I'm at 38. I took the next exit to see what was going on, but the slime had apparently fixed the hole. So I wasn't all that concerned about it. And so what I saw was all the slime on the wheel well of the truck. So I aired it back up, and apparently the slime either popped loose or I got another hole within 5 or 6 miles of airing it back up. Well, this time it was going down fast. The slime was not going to work. I could see it wasn't going to work. So I pulled off, and by the time I got stopped, we were back down to 35 pounds. I took the tire off. And this whole process only took 30 minutes. And it's like, as many flat tires as I've had now, I'm like a NASCAR pit crew. I can just boom, and it's off and it's up back on. The only thing missing is the rear from the air wrench. Still, I had some plugs. If you buy plugs and you intend to use plugs, make sure you get good quality name brand plugs like from Slime or you know, get the expensive pair, because I've noticed the cheaper ones just don't work as well. And I put a plug in, aired it back up, and we're back on the road. Now, I think these tire pressure monitoring systems that they put on new cars now are just the best invention anybody could have ever had. I mean, they're great because you can tell that you're getting a flat tire before the tire goes flat. Which is important, because if you're driving down the road and the tire just goes flat, well, what you're going to do is you're going to break the bead on the tire and you're not going to be able to repair it. That means you're going to have to put a spare on, you're going to have to go to the tire shop, you're going to have to get it remounted. You may damage your rim doing that, you may damage the tire. The tire may delaminate and start tearing up your vehicle. You can buy tire pressure monitoring systems. What you do is you just screw a little thing onto the valve stem, and the valve stem sends a signal to a unit that you have inside your car, and it monitors your tire pressures. This one is important. I've actually seen a YouTube video person do this to their Airstream. He bought these tire pressure monitoring systems for his Airstream, so he can monitor if his tires are going low. That is a big issue on travel trailers. You always see videos of travel trailers going flat. The tire delaminates and tears up the travel trailer. So if you buy these tire pressure monitoring systems and you put it on your travel trailer, you'll be able to identify that it's going low before you do damage to the camper and the tire, and then you can do these repairs. Because I'm telling you, a 30-minute tire repair on the side of the road is a lot better than having to go to the repair shop, you know, putting on a spare, limping along. It's bad enough when you have a flat tire on your commute back and forth to work, but it's a real bad day when you have a flat tire on your house. So thanks for watching. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.